This evening, we are going to take a closer look into what happened to the Miyazawa family and how the seemingly peaceful night would turn out to be an international unresolved mystery. Content might not be suitable for certain audiences. If you are easily triggered by vulgar descriptions, I advise you to click away from this video. Viewer discretion is advised. Please find a comfortable position and sit down as we will delve deeper into the mystery of the Miyazawa family murder. Saturday night, 30th of December, 2000. The Miyazawa family from Setagaya, Tokyo were ready to go to sleep. Around 11:30 p.m., 41-year-old Yasuko Miyazawa and her two children, 8-year-old Nina and 6-year-old Rei, were sleeping after a long, tiring day. Yasuko's husband, 44-year-old Mikio Miyazawa, was still working on his computer. All that could be heard was Mikio's typing and the static sounds emitted from the old light bulb in the living room. All seemed like it was going to be a normal night. However, a tragic outcome was awaiting the Miyazawa family. Sunday morning, 31st of December 2000, around 10:30 a.m., New Year's Eve. Yasuko's mother, Haruko, decided to pay the Miyazawa family a visit, since they had not answered their phone calls. She rang the doorbell. However, all that answered was nothing but the eerie echo of the bell and silence. Feeling her gut drop, Haruko decided to enter the house. She did not hear her daughter and her family talking or eating breakfast. All that remained was the static sounds coming from the old light bulb in the living room. As Haruko carefully walked further into the dim-lighted cramped house, she was met with the most horrendous sight. Her son-in-law, Mikio, was lying lifeless by the edge of the stairs. His skin pale and cold, as well as stained red by the blood covering his whole body and the floor surrounding him. Already overwhelmed with shock and fear, Haruko found the resolve within her to walk up the stairs, in hopes that her daughter and her grandchildren were alive. Her humble hope was soon extinguished as she spotted the lifeless bodies of her daughter, 41-year-old Yasuko, and her 8-year-old granddaughter, Nina, both who had been brutally abused before the death. Yasuko, her daughter that she had a very close relationship with for over 40 years, and her grandchild, Nina, which she watched television with a couple hours ago, were now lying lifeless in a cold ground at the hands of some unknown killer. Filled with even more grief and confusion, Haruko desperately tried to search for her youngest grandchild, 6-year-old Rei. He was lying in his bedroom, no wounds and no blood. However, his body was also cold as stone, and the young boy wasn't breathing. During the night of the murder, it is believed that the youngest son, Rei, was the first victim. The perpetrator walked into Rei's bedroom from the point of entry and strangled the child. It is then believed that Mikio was the next victim. He was working on his computer on the first floor, and it is believed that he got suspicious by noises coming from Rei's bedroom. Mikio then walked slowly and carefully up the wooden stairs between the narrow walls to check with his son. It was at this moment he encountered the unknown trespasser and got into a confrontation with him, ending with Mikio getting deep stab wounds, mainly around his thighs and buttocks, and falling down the stairs. His cause of death was loss of blood from the stab wounds in his chest. It is also worth mentioning that traces of a sashimi knife were found in his skull as well. The last two to be murdered was Yasuko and her daughter Nina, who was believed to be hiding in the attic, using the same sashimi knife as the perpetrator used on Mikio. The murderer continues his savagery rampant on the two. Traces of a first aid kit suggest that Yasuko had time to desperately apply bandages over her and her daughter's stab wounds. It is also believed that during this time, the intruder went down to the family kitchen and collected a new knife. By the time the intruder had collected his new weapon, Yasuko and Nina had desperately tried to run down to the stairs connecting to the first floor. Both Yasuko and Nina were found dead with their bodies crotch and back touching, both with severe and over-the-top stab wounds past the point of death. Very little is known about how the perpetrator got into the Miyazawa house. Investigation by the detectives and police officers concluded with a few theories on how the perpetrator could get in. The most popular theory believes that the perpetrator got inside the home by climbing through an open bathroom window on the second floor at the rear of the house. Traces from this entry, such as the removed mosquito screen, footprints under the window, and the broken tree branches near the park fence, are all believed to strengthen the weight of this theory. Another theory for the perpetrator's way of entry is through the front entrance. However, this door was usually locked at that hour. For this theory to be plausible, the murderer would have to be a close friend, family, or acquaintance of the Miyazawa family to let them inside the house so late in the evening. Although investigators agree that the bathroom window had to be used in some kind of way, since the mosquito filter had been removed and was found on the ground outside the rear of the house. In addition, as I mentioned before, signs of footsteps on the bathroom window and the broken branches all indicate that the bathroom window was utilized as a possible entry or escape. What's even more curious and shocking is that after the slaughter of the Miyazawa family, the perpetrator proceeded to leisurely lounge inside the house as an unwanted guest for hours. Not even bothered to hide or cover the corpses away, the intruder grabbed some ice cream, took a nap on the couch, drank barley tea, and left his feces in the toilet without flushing. Rummaging through the family's documents from the drawers, the perpetrator carelessly dumped them into the bathtub on the second floor bathroom. More of Yasuko's and Mikio's personal belongings met the same fate. 1:18 a.m. The family computer connected to the internet. The only traces made were a visit to one of Mikio's bookmarked websites. This, however, turned out to be the last piece of evidence. Thus, his actions and whereabouts after this moment are still shrouded in mystery. The incident that happened to the Miyazawa family was unprecedented and sparked national outrage. Due to the gravity of the situation, 280,000 policemen were involved in this case to this day. Initially, the hopes of quickly finding the perpetrators were high. Fingerprints, footprints, and even a blood-stained towel were left by the crime scene. The police ran tests with over 5 million people, all ranging from criminals, neighbors, family, friends, ex-residents, hospital patients with wounds on their hand. They also even went as far as to DNA test the blood-stained towel, testing over 1,300,000 people. However, none of them ever matched. What's more is that the perpetrator left a lot of clothes at the house. Among other things, a fanny bag, a multicolored muffler, Slashanger's shoes, and a long-sleeved white and purple sweater. The rest of the outfit left will be shown here. Perhaps the most troubling thing of all is the random nature of this unfortunate incident. Everything seemed like it was going to be a quiet, tranquil, and normal night for the Miyazawa family. The kids playing with each other and the parents cooking dinner just a couple hours prior. It is unthinkable that such an outcome would await this family. It is very unlikely that this was simple robbery, the reason being that the perpetrator stole only 150,000 yen, that being around 1,500 American dollars. To kill an entire family for such a small sum is very unlikely, not saying it could not be a robbery gone wrong, however, the possibility is very slim. Another motive could be personal grudge. This is where the complete severity and brutality of the wounds come into the picture. Besides Ray, who only got strangled, the other members of the family faced a far more brutal end, especially the women, Yasuko and Nina, being stabbed multiple times in the face area. Still, the motive is so unclear, which makes this case such a frustrating and mysterious case. The Miyazawa family murder is a frustrating and horrendous case. How could such a tragedy befall a family on what seems like a random whim of some stranger? So many questions remain unanswered. Who was the culprit? What was their objective? What was the motive? And why this seemingly normal family? Still to this day, these questions are still shrouded in mystery. But perhaps one day we will find out what really happened and the reasons why. What do you think? Was this some kind of coincidence? A robbery gone wrong? Or something far, far deeper? I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Hey! Thank you again so much for watching to the end of this video. If you like content like this, make sure to subscribe and like this video as it helps me make more videos just like this. As always, the world is always full of interesting and mysterious topics. Have a great night, guys. Stay curious.